I just love the drama.
Biggest U-turn since winter fuel allowance.
Cut that.
Because loose lips sink ships.
And what the fans want is to stop teams being owned by madmen.
Listen, you're really making a mess here. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. We're getting really cross with you.
The sticky patch came when the rest of the team's sticky patch came, which was sort of January onwards.
Grumble, boobs joke, hot wings.
You should be stood outside Hillsborough in the stocks having rotten fruit thrown in.
The Wednesday week!
Put on your podcast!
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday week. This week it is international break time, so we've come up with something new, something we haven't tried before, and something that gives what Yorkshire people like to have, and that's a little bit of a whinge. With our whinger in chief, we've got Simon and myself down Fudge. I'm available for parties, bar mitzvahs and christening, and Stevie and Charlie this evening. How was your weekend, Si? All right? Bit of a quiet one? Did you watch the England football game?
No, hey? We played? Oh, no, I didn't. No, I've had a really busy weekend. And yesterday I spent the day in Newcastle at the Great North Run. My better half ran the Great North Run yesterday.
Like the running bit is impressive. I don't know if it's the same as what it is, because as you know, I used to live in Brighton, and I used to live on the front, and they used to have the marathons go past at the front, and middle class people go running. They enjoy that, right? And middle class people also enjoy at events such as this a cowbell. Now, you know, I work in hospitality. I have a lot of late nights. There's sometimes beers flying around afterwards. We're getting home at 5 a.m. and middle-class toffs with cowbells can get in the bin. Was there many cowbells knocking around, or are the Geordies doing it different?
There was a lot of cowbells, mate. There was a lot of cowbells. Yeah, 60,000 people ran, got a medal, which turned out to be actually a map of Sunderland and not Newcastle.
Smashing. What a time. I bet they love that up there as well. That's a really fun thing for everybody. Stevie, what about yourself? Your daughter's off to go and be the next LeBron James, isn't she?
That's the plan. Yeah. If I
Operation LeBron James is well underway, is it?
If I can't make money out of podcasting, she's my route to early retirement, I think. she's my cash cow, my golden goose.
You've got one that does gymnastics, and you've got one that elbows kids 2 years older than her. Is that what's happening?
Pretty much, yeah. So twin two's had a fairly low key. She's not feeling very well at the minute, bless her. So we're working through that. But Molly made her under 14 debut at the age of 11. Went out to Scarborough, top scored in a game where they beat under 14 boys 92-39. Came home, had some food, went to bed, got up the next morning, and made her debut on the Aspire program, which is basically a talent ID program. So she's doing all right. Made an increasingly old man very happy this weekend, because
it was your birthday week as well, wasn't it, Stevie? How long did the hangover last?
I was all right, to be fair. It was nice and quiet, low key. I'm getting more chill in my old age. I'm a year closer to Simon for a bit, and I love the fact that Simon's on the pod, because as old as I'm getting, I'm still not going to be the oldest person on the show.
Well, we're waiting. We're waiting to pass this on to Ethan, Molly, and you know what I mean.
Lewis.
And Charlie, you're going to be the side. Yeah, and Lewis. Sorry, my apologies. Sorry, I forgot. I got carried away with the jokes there. Ethan, Molly, and Lewis, and then Charlie. You're going to be the Simon of the group. You know what I mean? That's where we're hoping to get to.
That's the dream. That's the dream. I've always wanted to be a podcast grandma, and finally, my dream will come true.
I love the idea of
it is a niche market. But I will conquer it. I will conquer that niche market.
Yeah, we'll be able for some extra content on Only Nans. But I love the idea. That was a terrible gag, Fudge. My apologies in advance. But I love the idea of you sat there going, do you remember 2023? What a time that was. Do you remember that unbeaten run? And the other people on the pod going, I was only 8. Shut up. You know what I mean? Get out of my house. What are you doing? How was your weekend, Jazz?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I'm sure you guys can tell, but I've started going to the gym, obviously. So I'm sure that comes across.
I saw.
Had to zoom out on the webcam just to fit the guns in. But I must admit, one thing I did not enjoy was having forgot that little emergency tester thing was happening. The worst place to be for that is a public place with like 50 other people in a gym. Everybody's phone went off at the same time. And I'm on the little, like, whatever I'm on, little rocking thing doing. And I was like, oh my God, the world is ending. The world is ending. It was absolutely mental. Yeah.
Mine was 5 minutes slower than everybody else's, so women and children first. You know what I mean? I know how that works. Getting a few comments about my jersey this evening. This is a John Harkes USA 1994 jersey. It does say Harkes on. Of course it does, but I do not look like John Harkes did in 1994. Anyway, that was some patter. That was quite a long one, but I thought I'd say hello because it is international break, so the patter is aplenty. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do, we are going to play our very own version of Room 101. What annoys you about football? What can literally get in the bin? So each of our panelists have brought 2 topics to the fore, and as they're justifying why it goes into Room 101, I want to see you guys get involved in the comments and tell me whether to put it in or to make it stand. Also, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. We surpassed a milestone on YouTube in terms of followers on the YouTubes. Something that we're quite new to, and I kind of like doing it like this. If I am on your big telly, that was for you. That. All right then, Chaz, you're going to go first. Tell me about what you would like to put into Room 101.
Okay, so this might be a bit controversial because I'm effectively advocating for them to take an entire job out of the world of football. But I would like to put, like, football nutritionists, dietitians, whatever you want to call them, in Room 101.
Yes.
And I'll tell you for why, Danielle. I'll tell you for why. Nowadays, particularly in the higher leagues, we have gone insane when it comes to the micromanagement of footballers. And they are not allowed to do anything. They're not allowed to eat anything they want. They have to drink certain things. It's ridiculous. We're building super soldiers instead of footballers, and there's no way that is an even keel down the leagues anyway. Like, the more money you've got, like, they're all in cryogen chambers and eating like ethically sourced quinoa or whatever. Absolutely ridiculous. Let them have a biscuit. Let them have a pint at half time and a slice of orange. Let them have a fag if they're on subs bench waiting to come on. Let's bring that back. I think that's fine. I think we should go back to being a proper country where you just turned up and you played football. None of this like super science behind the scenes, creating these people in a lab. No, we need to go back to the basics and have normal people playing sport. The nutritionists that I'm effectively sacking can go to tennis. You see, they can go to tennis.
Because why is it okay in tennis? Why can they not have a fag at tennis?
Because they've only got. Oh God, my God! You can't have a fag at Wimbledon. You can't smoke at Wimbledon. My God, they don't even sell them.
Did he still drink Robinson's squash?
I'm sure they do. With their little pinkies out. Send the people like the tennis players of the soup. That's fine. Like they're all finely tuned, weird little machines. That's absolutely fine. Keep football as football with just normal people. Running, if they've got a bit of a beer belly, that's absolutely fine because everyone else will have one as well. That's we were healthier back in the day and we used to win more. I'm just saying, we were more unhealthy back in the day, but we used to win more, and I think there's a lot to be said for that, frankly.
So what you're saying is you missed 90s Wendy, where you had people like Carlton Palmer and David Hurst on the pints, on the regs. I think we had Carlton Palmer on the show, and he was talking about having a night out in his kit where he kind of got, and he was in the papers or something the night before they played somebody, went out for New Year's Eve or something before the New Year's Day fixture. Is that right?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact fixture it was, but he ended up on. He told the story, didn't he? And he ended up on the front page of the newspaper, one of the red tops, in his shell suit. Ended up in a bar in London, wasn't it?
Played QPR.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sorry, Dan. I always remember the podcast we did with the players during COVID, and I think it was Chris Bolt-Williams, and I don't know whether we had Brighty on, but there was a number of players who didn't drink during the season, and they just became designated drivers to Hanrahans. So after they finished training, they would take Hursty, Danny Wilson to Hanrahan's after Tuesday morning training, and they'd all get lagered up, and that's what they did. Anybody who didn't drink, and that was the nutritional advice during the 90s, that players went, I'm not going to drink during the season, and that's all they did. There was no granola bars and shit like that.
Yeah, just to emphasise your point somewhat, Chaz. Just when you were talking about going to the gym, you said that you've had to zoom out tonight to get your guns in. Stu Williams had to double down and said she said guns, just in case there was any, dads watching. And then Craig Hayward says, I hope using the TWW gym playlist, Charlie. I don't know if you've come across that. That is an eclectic mix of music.
Humongous.
How else you got so swole? And then Liam Henderson's ragging me out about my shirt, saying I didn't realise John Arks was that big in '94. Thanks, Liam. That's because I go to the gym as well. TWW playlist. We'll put it in the. We'll put it on the link tree. And then Neon Brown has gone with Charlie. Just reminded that classic photo of Cruyff in the change room, sat there with a ciggy on the go. Now, smoking was quite big. Even as recent as Teddy Sheringham used to enjoy a fight, didn't he? He used to love the tabs. Matt Strickland's gone with I've never had an injury from a kebab. You know what I mean?
Protein, probably. I don't know.
And Craig Hayward said 100%. Let's sack them off. Sack them off. Does anybody have any arguments for the other? Are you liking seeing this fast, leaner, quicker, thinner footballer, or do we all need the bigger stags back?
Me personally, I think there remains a gap in the market for a good old has been who likes his beer, drinks his wine, eats his kebabs, goes and gets a burger. If you're good enough, you're big enough. So yeah, let's see. Let's bring it back. Bin off the nutritionists. Bring back ketchup.
A friend of
ketchup.
Mine, a friend of Ethan, is a goalkeeper at the academy at Rotherham. Okay, and
how old is he?
He's 17. Right. So he came around to our house. He'd just been on holiday with some of the lads who play for Rotherham in the academy, and he was saying, "I don't know whether I want to carry on playing." So he said, "Why?" And he said, "Because I've got to stop drinking now. They test them every Monday morning. They test them for alcohol, and they're only allowed so much alcohol in the bloodstream." And I think we're seeing a set of players now who aren't enjoying football. There's kids out there who are playing who don't just see it as a job. They they don't enjoy. They don't play for the shirt anymore. We've seen it, haven't we, with players that have left and gone just basically to Saudi or whatever just to make money. They're not bothered about it. So I agree. Let's have pints before, pints after, during. It's the days of I mean, I think it was Paul McGrath. They used to pick him up before a game, and he'd have done a bottle of vodka before he trained and stuff like this. It was. Now
we've moved into itchier territory there, haven't we? Just moved into binge drinking,
but that's what they did. And you know what? We competed in Europe. We competed in the World Cup.
Because pints, kebabs, and fags. There you go. You see.
What is this argument?
I don't know. He's run away from me a bit.
Yeah.
He's slightly run away from it. I just want to have a biscuit. I'm not advocating for
Let's. I tell you what. Listen, Chaz, I'm going to put it into room 101. It's going to go in, and the reason being is I'm going to justify my decision. Flex the guns is because I work in hospitality, and we need that footballer money. Because the kids aren't drinking anymore. I like the way Simon described it then. The kids are being pushed away from drinking and smoking. And 80% of my livelihood relies on the kids coming out and drinking. and I need it. So congratulations. That's going to go into room 101. Stevie, your turn. What have you got?
Mate, one of mine was the injuries, wasn't it? Feigning injuries.
Yes, tactical injuries, mate. So there we are. We've got a picture of Haaland on the screen, but the goalkeepers are the worst ones, aren't they? So they tend to be able to waste the clock out, don't they? So justify your decision there, Steve.
I can put a realistic spin on it, if you like, or a callback to last season at Middlesbrough, I think it was, up on Boxing Day. I'm sure it was a Middlesbrough game on Boxing Day. We were 3-0 down, circumstances have changed, and all of a sudden, goalkeeper goes down injured just when we're getting back into the game. We've got a little bit of momentum. And lo and behold, goalkeeper out of nowhere throws himself on the floor. You'll see it that just kills the momentum of the game, but you'll see it on any game at the minute. It's so formulaic. It is so by the book, painting by numbers. You know what's coming. I can guarantee we can watch a game of football this week. Doesn't matter what level. It doesn't matter what standard. Anywhere in the AFL, if a team has more than 3-4 minutes of sustained, solid pressure, goalkeeper's going to take any opportunity to catch the ball, fall on the floor, and hold his knee, or his shoulder, or any sort of minimal contact at all with the hand. It's as if he's going to require some sort of X-ray. And I know we've started with a little bit of a sort of a tongue-in-cheek fun poke at the modernisation of the football game. This is modernising it to the extent where it's just becoming ridiculous. And I go to consume my fandom, my supportership, whether Wednesday are good or bad. I want to see a fair game of football, and I think it's flouting the decency, if you like, of competitive.
Allow me to retort, Stevie. And whilst I agree with you about being quite fair, I think it's something that we do wrong as a country at the national level. I think every other team, Spanish teams, are really good at it. They are pro level great at diving on the floor. And I know this is a wider perspective, but they are pro level at drawing the foul, as it were. And then Stu Williams has come in with an absolute pinger. And I'm afraid it doesn't get into Room 101 because of this comment here, Stevie. If you bin this, Stockdale's career is null and void. And because he was in the season where we got that massive unbeaten streak, I'm afraid we need it. So my apologies, Stevie. Better luck next time. Outrageous. So more goalkeepers, more from Wendy dying on the floor. Simon, what do you have up your sleeve to be put forward for Room 101?
What I have is... So, have you noticed over the last few years when a player is offside that the linesman does not put the flag up until that player touches the ball and becomes what they call active? So
active. Now, I do agree with you, Simon. Just bear with me a second. It does sound like someone's washing up in the background somewhere. Is there somebody off camera doing the washing up somewhere at someone's house? It sounds like they've got the rinser on. But anyway, I'm going to persevere. But yes, Simon's gone for the offside flag. The flag getting raised just as the player becomes active. Now, one thing I do need to speak about during Simon's point is the injury to Awoniyi. For Nottingham Forest. At the back end of the season, he was clean through and he was offside as the ball got played through. They let him run half the pitch and he was tackled against a post and he ended up having some kind of awful injury. It was like he ruptured his pancreas or something like that. Was it something horrific? And for something that the whistle should have gone a long time before, right?
And this is what I was going to say in regards, somebody's going to get injured. Somebody did get injured. Now, the reasoning behind this change of rules is down to the VAR. So basically, bear in mind, there's only one league in the professional league that uses VAR, which is the Premier League. They're actually stating that let the play continue, and if they score, VAR will then check to see if it is offside or not. Mm-hmm. But what's happened is, in our league, it would appear that every time someone is offside, and it is absolutely obvious that that person is offside, the players have to keep playing because they don't know whether they're going to give it. So somebody runs, tackles that guy, injures themselves, pulls Achilles, etc., etc. If he's offside, put the bloody flag up. It's as simple as that. This assessment to say, oh, he's not actually active until he has touched the ball, or we will let a video assessment check to say, yes, he was offside, not offside, after they've scored a goal and everybody's cheered and gone, yay, oh no, he was offside. that just ruins the whole element of the game.
Totally.
Offside, stop the game, free kick, crack on.
Yeah, we've had a comment here from Dave Reed here, and he says, as a qualified referee, I no longer officiate, but offside is so confusing now. I don't know what the rule is anymore, and it's the same with handballs, and it's the same with penalties, and then we see it discussed at, you know, to the nth degree on many outlets, and we've now got crap like Ref Watch and things like that happening on the TV. I don't give a toss. I you know what I mean? Well, we're going to go over to this bloke who used to referee 20 years ago, and he's going to say, he'd have booked him all that time ago. Thanks, David Ellery. You're not relevant anymore. Leave me alone. And it's reasons like that, and it's that type of stuff, which is why I'm going to put it in Room 101. Congratulations, Simon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The Wednesday week will be back soon. Oh, yeah.
Okay, welcome back to Room 101, TWW edition. We're back round to Charlie. Charlie, what else are we going to go to try and chuck in the bin?
Tiny little shin pads. Where is
Tiny
this
shin
come from?
pads.
Where has tiny shin pads come from? Dear God Almighty, like, can you imagine if you watched the Tour de France and suddenly they were all wearing like tiny little Pope hat sized helmets? Like, it would be insane. Like, the purpose of protective gear is to protect the whole of something. You don't just break this much of your leg, you break, like, if anything, they should be making shin guards bigger, in my opinion. Like, if we should be wearing more protective stuff. I know that kind of slightly contradicts my earlier point about I want them all just to run around full of lager, but
well, they had built-in protection back then, to be fair.
exactly.
They were on the pints
Either
of the
get
kebab.
fatter or wear more protection. Either's fine. Either's fine. I don't know if it's come as like a fashion statement, because it sure as shit hasn't come from some kind of new development in medicine where they've discovered that only part of the leg gets broken. Like, oh, don't worry, guys. We've been wasting. Like, I saw an argument someone put on Reddit saying it makes you more aerodynamic. How heavy were your shin pads prior to this? Like, no one's advocating for steel plated shin pads. Just make them big enough that covers your whole leg. And it is so twee, like, with respect, a fully grown adult footballer taping on like a tiny baby little shin pad on. It's nuts. And ultimately people are going to keep getting hurt. And then what you're going to do is say, oh, well, I got broken around my shin pad. Like, of course you did. Like, and apparently in a lot of grassroots football, they're banning them. Like, a lot of like grassroots football are saying, obviously, no, sir, you cannot take to the pitch in that ridiculous tiny little shin pad. Of course you have to wear proper shin pads. So why the hell are we letting like Premier League and Championship like footballers wear these tiny little? Yeah, it's stupid and wrong. And I want it condemned, Daniel.
Stupid and wrong. Now, what used to happen back in the olden days was we used to get these Gary Lineker sponsored Sondico shin pads that used to have these little ankle plates as well around the side. Now, being Sunday League heroes like ourselves, Stevie, you remember those shin pads quite a lot. You remember some of the tackles. They stay with you. Imagine if we'd have played that level of football without ankle support. Can you imagine?
Mate, honestly, do you know what? Liam's just put a comment on, and I know you're talking about the old school ones, but shin pads could be completely banned nowadays. No one is allowed to make a challenge anymore. But those, I have such a nostalgia around wearing those big cricket pad type shin pads as kids. You go for Christmas, you'd go and wait for your Christmas presents, and you'd open up a pair of shin pads, and it was the Brian Robson ones that had the autograph on it, weren't it, with the box?
Yeah. I had
Lineker or Brian Robson, and it was just pure Velcro strap around the back, everything tied on, and it was literally from your ankle to your knee. And the bigger the shin pad, the better a defender you were. And it was just, it was great, weren't it?
Like cricketers, like massive, huge shin pads.
You should have seen, especially when we were like 10 years old as well, like when we'd not grown into our body. They used to come right up to our knees. They were the most awkward thing. But I tell you what, they're the reason I can still walk in my mid-40s now.
But the thing is, you buy those pads that were that wide when your leg was that wide. So it went right round and it almost wrapped around. But they then have, in sort of 86, 87, 88, whatever era, the socks that wouldn't pull over the top of them. because we couldn't get the socks sorted properly.
I think you almost make an assessment of footballers now. Obviously, Ethan's moving out of grassroots, but the little shin pads, I asked him because my son has a pair of these small shin pads, and I am not keen on him wearing them. And apparently it's down to you don't want sweaty shins, which I did say you also don't want poor shins when somebody's broken it into several pieces.
Sorry, that's the issue. Sweaty shins.
It's all about the cutouts in the socks at the back and all that. It's all about, and I think it goes back to nutritionists and dehydration. I mean, to be honest, guys, you two have played football. A sweaty shin pad is not a very attractive smell, is it? I mean,
no, the stench of your bag, and it takes about 2 weeks into the season. You get all new kit, don't you, in the summer, and then it's normally by late August. It smells like a pack of dry roasted peanuts.
Yeah. But I do sort of look at players and I do sort of assess them. So it's like sort of Malik Wilkes come Jamal Lowe, who tend to wear those very small ones, and you think to yourself, you ain't a decent footballer. If you're wearing stupid little shin pads like that and your socks around your ankles, come on, you're not a proper footballer. So you've got to be a good footballer to wear yellow boots, small shin pads, and have a Mohican. Simple as that.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, if there was a kid, I'm going back as late as I was probably about 23, 24. If a kid turned up and he wasn't wearing black boots, I would make a point of testing his shin pads for the rest of the afternoon. You know what I mean? I'd be like, what are they? You know, if a kid turned up with a hairband, and I've been guilty of a hairband and did get my head kicked in. You know what I mean? A kid turned up with a hairband, boy band streaks. Once again, I can hear a lot of people that played football with me back in the day. I know I was there. I also saw it, and I got my shin pads tested. But then, as you get older, you grow out of it. And then white boots. We had one kid who used to play in foundation because he had acne, so he put foundation on to play football. Now, I'm not atting anybody about their makeup usage in this modern era. Don't get me wrong, but I know that some people aren't going to take that as the way it was meant. You know what I mean? It was obviously something that gave him a bit more confidence. But he was one of he doubled it up with having long hair with a hairband, white boots, and was sublime at dancing round players as well. And he wore the big shin pads. You know what I mean? And rightly so. Fair play to your son. He was a mustard player and all. Go on, Stevie.
If sweaty shins are the issue, are we saying that the shins are the only thing that sweats? Do we not have
I think that sweaty shins is utter shit that children have said.
Absolute nonsense. You're telling me that the issue here is, I can't wear these because I've got sweaty shins. Nonsense.
It's come from professional footballers, because people like Jack Grealish and other players like that, and they're cutting the back of the socks out and stuff like that. They're saying it makes us play better. Then that's the only reason why 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, and even 17-year-olds do it. And that is purely the reason behind it.
Nonsense. Utter nonsense. Chaz, you're going to get 2 out of 2 on this one. I'm going to put them in room 101. I'm going to put tiny shin pads in. Reason being is I don't want to see big Lego brick defenders that look like Harry Maguire wearing stick on nails on the front of his shins, because I think it's ridiculous. I think it ruins the game, and I feel like the reason we've gone down this route of you lean on a player, you give him a bit of needle, like players like Chef Kikuchi wouldn't get anywhere nowadays in today's modern game, and I feel like the modern game now is already wet AF, and I feel like the shin pads have got an input into it. I think that they are contributing factors to the wetties that play football right now. And it goes back to tactical injuries and all the rest of it. Stevie, let's go. Congratulations, Chaz. Well done. You've convinced me.
I am a man of a certain age, and I have no time whatsoever for enforced drink breaks in the middle of the game. It's utter woke nonsense.
I was really trying hard not to turn this into whingy old men. That's why Chaz is on today. You know what I mean?
Absolute codswallop. Oh, we need to stop. So we go back to Charlie's point at the beginning. So we spend all these millions of pounds to make sure we've got our players the fittest, the most conditioned, the most ready for, high level elite competition as you possibly can. And we are now getting to a point where we've gone, oh, let's just stop, because we're going to give everybody a little bit of a drink. And we're going to be ready to go again in 3 minutes' time, because the temperature is 23 degrees Celsius. Bullshit. Absolute joke. What are we doing? So my first World Cup, my first sort of real exposure to top level competitive football was Mexico '86. So the Maradona, the big Aztec sort of thing that covered, the shadow on the silhouette on the pitch, and football shirts literally drenched in sweat, ironically. These guys weren't stopping for drinks breaks. It's only got to a point where all of a sudden we're stopping for drinks breaks, because it gives people an opportunity to reset, regroup. And I genuinely believe it also gives people that have got microphones and headphones on, and people that are sitting in the gantry, an opportunity to go, right, let's just pull apart this last phase of play here, and let's bring in a fourth official, and let's have a look at this person. And it's just absolutely Americanized the game. And I've got no argument with American sports being as stop-start as they are. I know you're a big NFL guy, Dan. I'm a huge NBA
After
fan.
last night, not so much, but yes.
But the games are what they are, but you enjoy them and you consume them because that's how you've been conditioned. I didn't grow up to have 20 minutes of football that was then stopped, so we could have a 5-minute drink break. Everybody can get round, get your tactics boards in, and we can have another couple of minutes, and then we'll go back out and we'll start again. It almost goes back to the first point that I made when we were talking about the game being stop-start. When we're maintaining possession of the football, when you've got dominance in there, the last thing you want is a drinks break. Imagine us in a derby in decent weather where we know that the game is coming. We've gone 1-0 up, or we've just come back and we've equalised and we're on top, and we've got the momentum within the game, and then all of a sudden we go, right, we're just going to stop so we can have a couple of minutes off, have a drink, and then we'll regroup again. You're not going to get that back. It's so frigging frustrating. It absolutely does, man up. Absolutely frustrates the hell out of me. Go play football. Have your drink at half time.
Especially when you see the statistics as well of how long the ball is in play in a 45-minute part of football. I don't want to see more breaks. The point of football is that it's fast-paced and it keeps going. I feel like we're also getting robbed of what I like is a wonderful moment. Maybe not wonderful, but when someone's had a really tough injury and you just see players stood around on opposing teams just passing a drink bottle round. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then there's always like a bit of back and forth. We seem to have lost that now, don't we? They're elite winners and stuff like that. And then I love the idea that like you've got these grown-ups that are on, X amount and it's high level football and all the rest of it. But they won't put their lips around a bottle that somebody else did. They have to do that squirt into the mouth. You know what I mean? And I feel like it misses something. And I feel like you're right in terms of the breakup in play as well. There was something about like the physio running on with 12 drink bottles while he was going to look after somebody and everybody just crowding round and all the rest of it. Does anybody have a case for drinks breaks? They want to see their players conditioned. They want to see them ready. It's a great opportunity to use it to our own advantage.
Only if they're drinking beer.
It's just back to Chaz's point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Pints. Let's bring pints on.
I can't see any reason for it other than the excuse for the tactical huddle as well. And it's almost like the drink is being used as like an excuse, as though it's like, well, you're not going to deny them a bit of hydration, are you? It's like, yeah, but we would have expected them to play the 45-minute plus without having the beverage like that. We haven't considered that inhumane in the modern game. Like, I think during COVID, they put like a break in because it was, I don't know exactly why people were more dehydrated because COVID.
They needed more to cause COVID.
They hadn't been playing or what. And I was like, okay, COVID was a weird time. Everyone was doing weird things. Everyone was elbowing each other. It was all weird. But yeah, just the idea that it's like, well, while we're here, we should probably have a drink. It's like, not really. Like, it's clearly just used as an excuse for everyone to huddle around and have a chat. And it's ridiculous.
But this is the thing as well, is that I'm not saying you can't have a drink, but the goalkeeper has a drinks bowl, and every corner, you get a corner, and 3 centre-halves would go get round it, and they'd all take a swig, wouldn't they? Or you'd have drinks bottles that are located around the side of the pitch, or in a stop-in play, goal kick, set piece, whatever else. You'd run to the side, you'd have a quick drink, and then you'd be back in. that fine, it's part and parcel of it. Some people will want to drink and hydrate within the game, but the game doesn't stop. For me personally, I don't mind that. I was never a player that wanted to go and have a drink mid-game because it's just not how your body works. And as somebody who has taught this as as a subject in work, your body reacts in different ways. What might work for me might not work for Dan, for example, or Simon. So some people actually benefit from hydrating, and it's a comfort thing as well. Some people don't like drinking because it sits on them. So you got to plan that right.
I'm one of those.
Yeah. I was the same. I'd never drink.
I couldn't do it. I remember I moved away from Skegness down to Southampton. I'm going back 20 years now. And the old lads at Skeg Town, they were, Fudge, we need a centre back for this weekend. Do you want to come up? I'd not played for about 3 or 4 months. I was a bit rusty. For that first half, honestly, best half of football I've ever played in my life. And the lads were like, Fudge, you should still drive up. You should come up. And I live in Southampton. It's like a 4-hour journey. Oh, Fudge, you should still come up. And I went, I'm all right, lads. But cheers, boys. It's, So anyway, I walked out. They've given me the armband for the second half. When I say I stunk the joint up, because I don't know what it was. If I drank too much at half time, it just sit on me and I couldn't run. I couldn't jog. And at the end of the game, it's a shame with Southampton. Fudge can't play anymore, innit? You know what I mean? Everything changed. I completely understand. I know what that means. But we've got a few comments about it. Izzy Nick said, I was with you until the idea of us going 1-0 up in a derby game, so she's dismissed that as trash. Just play with those beer caps with the straws on. We should have some of them. I'm all right with that. Matt Strickland says, just a few Capri Suns each. That's all we need. All them little gels. I don't mind them gels. They're all right. And obviously Stu says only exception is Ramadan for the Muslim players, which I completely agree because I did Reds versus Blues in 2016 and 2017. And there was a Muslim fella playing centre back next to me. I tell you what, that was one of the most impressive human feats I have ever seen in my life. Watching a geezer on a fast play centre back for in August against ex-professionals. That was genuinely impressive. So Stevie, I'm going to give you that one, brother. That one's going to go in room 101. Tactical drinks breaks can literally get in the bin. Simon.
Do you want to do the Wednesday Dar shouting at the cloud siren?
Oh yeah. I've only got dad banter alert.
Dad banter alert. Dad banter alert.
Now the remit for this was to talk about things that annoy you in football or things that can be Sheffield Wednesday centric. What did you go for, Si?
I went for the catering at Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh, now you've put a human face on it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I miss. Is that still there? For those listening, I've just put a picture up of the Yorkshire Tea Brew Bar that was on the cup. Is that still there? Is it still branded up like that?
I don't know.
I haven't been to that part of the cup in a while. Somebody will tell us. Let us know in the comments. But yes, the catering at Sheffield Wednesday, a useful topic, I'm sure, that will incense all of the Dars across Hillsborough.
I just want to put it as a whole because there's so many things. So the first of which is just little things that are really, really annoying that we could do so much better. And you also question why. So, for example, why? The Wednesday tap. I've had many a drink in the Wednesday tap, but can I ask a question? Why can't kids go in before the game, yet they can go in after the game? Which blows my mind. So if Stevie wants to take his daughter to the match and he wants to have a pint before the game, he can't take her in, but he can go in afterwards. Why? What's a really bizarre?
We've got Ash manning our socials right now. So Ash, let us know. Let us know because that's he actually knows. We did have some meetings about the catering, Ash and I, with the club last year before it all went to shit and or piss. So Ash probably does know the answer to that.
So we'll wait for that one. So bizarre, right? Okay. So then let's go to Zombieland, as we call it. So we've attempted to create a fan zone for people to go to in the car park on a slanted bit of car park. So if you're sat on a picnic table that's put in there. You're all sat like this, right? And then they make you queue for it. And obviously, it's taken a bit of a turn this season because originally there was a big container that had pumps, etc. Whereas this one appeared this season, to be a trolley on wheels with 2 people stood there. Look, I know nobody's buying a drink in the ground, but come on. So then we go actually inside where, let's say you want a bottle of pop and the lid has to be taken off said bottle of pop, which is great for an adult like me, but for a 4 or 5-year-old child ends up wearing said bottle of pop because there's no lid to put on it. And it's said that it's safety related and you might throw a bottle top onto the pitch. Mate, if you sat where the grandstand is, you try throwing anything to get on the pitch from there, you ain't going to do it. Okay. And then also on top of that is the beer. All the beer is absolutely -3. So whether you have lager, Wednesday, Guinness, or whatever, it's -3. The pies, they run out of pies. You know, we go to many. I was at Stoke. I'd had too much beer. They sold gin and tonics. I had a gin and tonic at half time. You can get the pies straight away. Very, very middle class. Well, you know, I sit up with the prawn sandwiches, so that's what I expect at half time.
Yeah, that's the most grandstand thing that's ever been said on this podcast, Si. I enjoy that. So, I had a gin and tonic. Oh, did you? You fancy bastard.
So when people were spending money in the ground, people would have to leave 5 minutes before half time to guarantee being able to get a beer and drink it before the second half started because the service is so slow. How many away games have we been to where you go, pint of lager, please, and it's in front of you before you've actually said lager, right? The whole catering from start to finish is absolutely shocking. It is so poor. We've tried to make steak bakes. We tried to do this. We tried to do that, which is great if you get one at the start of the game. But then if you get one at half time that's been wrapped in foil, it's congealed and tastes like a dead rat. Now, it is absolutely chuffing rubbish. I can have a pint, please. The person says, yes, you can. Turns to the person at the side of him and goes, he'd like a pint. The person at the side of him pours the drink, gives it you. The person who you've just spoken to, you have to pay. What? Why? What? What's going on? It's not rocket science. It's rubbish. Get it in the bin.
Okay. Let me digest that. So the first bit I'm gonna pick up on is the fan zone bit. Now the fan zone is a point of chagrin for me. The season before last. So what happened was there was this bit that's cordoned off in the car park. Now I know it's a shed in a car park, right? There needs to be some investment in there, but given the chairman and all the things that we spend money on and can't spend money on, the fan zone isn't one of them. However, it went to an external company, and there was one time where they went in there, and as you walked in, you had your big long queue, and it was at the back across not the roadside, but adjacent to, as it were. And it was a big long bar with about 4 different bars on it. But for some reason, some clown decided to go, we're going to put everybody in one big long queue, like those straight line pub shit that we do nowadays, right? And what that did was put everybody going off, because the queue, you couldn't let anybody in because the queue would come right out the corner of the fan zone. So it was just a queue and a geezer, a ropey-looking geezer with a guitar singing Wonderwall. You know what I mean? Now, so what we did, Ash and I, it was just before the derby. We were trying to talk about what was available, and there's no budget available and stuff like that. And I said, this queuing system's fucking nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. You've got the same people queuing up for food for the kids as you have the same. So I don't know if you remember, but for the Sheffield United game, it was against the roadside. It was wider, and there were 6 different stations, all with a sixth of the queue in there, and people getting served. And if you wanted food, it was from a separate counter. That worked an absolute treat, and that's how they did it till the back end of last season. And then all this came out during the summer, and the fan zone's been a girly wet dribble once again. But there is work in there, and the reason that the fan zone is quite small is because the chairman won't put any investment into it, which is what it needs. You go to somewhere like Middlesbrough and you've got those cabins, you've got a stage, wonderful, wonderful setup. I feel like when somebody new comes in, that's going to get taken a look at. And the issue is they won't put the disabled fans parking anywhere else either. So that's why it's governed for size. They won't move where the disabled fans can park. Or where the players can park and things like that, because they could, you know what I mean? There needs to be a lot of movement around. Please don't at me saying that, Fudge hates disabled people and where they park. You know what I mean? But there's a whole piece around it. That was on the way of getting better, but given the way the summer went, that's where it fell to piss and shit. The South Stand specifically, that's a lot more set up for a lot of people, isn't it? The Cop is a shambolic mess. The Cop's a joke. And the North Stand is very similar, but there's a lot more outlets on the North Stand and the South, and then the away end is literally just a window. It is an absolute bloody mess. Does anybody not have an issue getting anything to eat at the game?
I was taken by your last comment around the South Stand being set up and everything being all right. And let's sort of caveat what we're talking about here by
there's more windows.
No, what I'm saying, let's caveat it by taking away the whole boycott. We're not going to pay a penny in the ground. Everything else we're talking about on a standard. Go back a year, 18 months, whatever it is, where we're talking about a standard match day experience. I'm one of those who I cannot not watch the game, so I can't go up 5 minutes early at half time. I can't come back late. So if I hear the second half music start playing, if I've got half a lager, it's getting necked and I'm down because I don't want to miss anything. It's just my weird sort of setup in my head. So I don't go down early and I don't come down late. But I don't think I should have to go and get a drink at half time. My argument, as Simon's mentioned about going to other grounds on away days and so forth, I should be able to walk up the 13, 14 steps or whatever it is, go down, turn right or left, and walk straight into a kiosk where I can go, right, have some of my money because you want my money, so I can have a drink that you're going to have a ridiculous markup on and make some profit for the club. Whereas what actually happens is I go in, I will go and stand at the back of a queue that is probably 15, 20 deep. And that's realistic. It's about 15, 20 deep. I'm not talking about it snaking right down towards the tap stairway or anything. But it still takes me a good 8 to 10 minutes to get through that 20 people. It shouldn't take that long. So we've talked about the solutions to that. The pre-poured pints, the technology around it. That is, it's an outlay in the short term that is going to recoup some sort of financial benefit in terms of a profit. Because if we do that, more people will spend more money. The match day experience is going to be better, and more people are going to be inclined to come and part with their cash. I hate half-time experience on the South. I hate it, and it's nothing to do with the circumstances that I've had in recent times with everything else that's going on. I just hate it in general because what I want to do is I want to go and get some food, get a drink, be out and back in my seat within 15 minutes, which I think for one drink on a game of football is absolutely doable. But the fact it takes me 10, 12, 13 minutes to get a beer, then I've got to neck it as quickly as I can and go back is absolutely abhorrent. I hate it. Winds me up.
I've got anything to add, Chaz?
No.
Cool. I tell you what. Right, Simon, I'm going to put it in, and I want to take the one I'm putting in. I'm going to justify it, and the reason being is what Stevie was saying. It shouldn't be a big ask to get a beverage at halftime. Shouldn't be a big ask to get a beverage before the ground if you are set up correctly. Now, the issue that I believe that it all comes down to is that we outsource our catering at the fan zone to a company, and the staff are poorly trained. I'm not having a pop at the staff. They're not shown how to do it properly. And it's the same when you go to the ground. The staff are not doing it in an efficient way. Reason being is, right, we made this big song and dance. I don't know if you remember, we made this big fanfare about getting bottom-filled pints, and we've all done it. We've all picked up the glass and gone, oh, look at that, and then put our finger up the magnet and pissed our pint out the bottom. We've all done it, right? And go, oh, that's amazing. But the issue is, and the reason that we got that is that they can bottom fill quicker because, you know, it should be quicker. But the poorly trained staff, what they're doing is making them to order. So you walk up to the counter, 2 pints of Wednesday and a Guinness, please, fella. Right. So the geezer then gets the cups, puts them on the spike, and then the geezer pours the first bit of Guinness. Then there's the click, 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 the most frustrating 30 seconds of your life watching that pissery take part. And then he tops up the Guinness and then gives it to you and goes, that'll be 16, 17 quid, right? Now, the issue with that is, why isn't there just one geezer just making pints? There's a queue of like 300 people. Just get the geezer stood at the tap. Just don't turn the tap off. Just one pint after the next. And for the sake of an extra team member, just stood there at the tap or bottom filling pints, one after the other, and getting the first half of the Guinness ready, that would generate hundreds and if not thousands of more in revenue.
Every away game, I think we have been to, whether we've been together or separately, every away game I can think of in the last 2 or 3 years, they have rows of pints. You've got your ciders, you've got your dark fruits, you've got your Guinness, you've got your lager, you've got your whatever IPA, and there are rows of them. And the person just, you go, I'll have a dark fruits and I'll have an IPA. They turn, pick them up, give you, you pay, you're gone. And a lot of these have got two setups, and there's 3,500 fans who all want a beer, and you're in, you get your drink, you sorted, and more often than not, you can have a couple and a gin and tonic. You know, this is what you can do. You know, and whereas at Hillsborough, I don't even go for a drink at half time. There's no point.
What's the point?
Can't be asked.
Yeah.
You've got to have your gin and tonic. You've got to have your gin and tonic. We've got to have a gin and tonic. Right then, I tell you what, let's have some of this.
Hold tight, kids. It's
Nothing's working. Nothing's working. I'll try again.
the Wednesday week. We'll be back soon. Oh, yeah.
That was a stressful 30 seconds for me. The buttons didn't work and my headphones died while Simon finished his sentence there. So congratulations, Simon. That was 2 out of 2 into room 101. If you do have any room 101 suggestions, we've got the comments live on screen now. Get involved. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to use the QR code on screen as well, because that is all the socials. And what we're going to do now, Stevie, brace yourself.
Last man standing, who survived? Fantasy League keeps dreams alive. And when there's something shiny new, Stevie's first to see it through. So place your bets, come join the play. Our gambling man will lead the way.
Did that play, or did it all freeze?
It played.
Right.
The animation is brilliant.
It happened.
Wow. I didn't know Pixar was sponsoring us now.
Yeah. It all froze at my end. I don't know what's happening. Go, Stevie. Sorry.
I get the nerve, I get the fear when you put that jingle on, because it's absolutely outstanding, if I do say so myself. And then I'm going to follow it up by going, look at this, EFL, Fantasy Premier League. For those people that have been with us for the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, you'll be aware that we run the FPL. I talk about it a lot. We've said we're going to start giving some updates, and we're going to give out some tat. We'll get to the tat in a minute. Weekly shout outs, because I'm on this week. The FPL update we'll start with first is here, so you can see the top 10. Some fantastic scores being knocked up. A couple of familiar faces in there as well. Hello, John Wakefield. How you doing? 203 points sat in third. We've got Wesgore with 1867. Owls currently sitting on 208 points with a game week of 65. I've decided tonight to do a very quick sort of shout out to what I believe to be the performance of the week on the last round of games, which was from Change Name, and this was Becky Walstow James. Is sitting just outside the top 10, scored 79 points on her Fantasy Premier League last week. And we also have association with Tipple. Tipple can get in the bin, quite honestly, because
is that because Ash is the highest out of the lot of us?
It does me head in. We're up there. Ellie Haywood is back up at the top of the league in the Tipple League. And then the EFL League update, we've got S. Johnson, Heathens and Owls sitting at the top, 63 points, 396 game points, total points in general. And his screenshot of his team is there. Ollie Norwood, I've had an absolute stinker on the AFL this week. I captained Alfie May, he wasn't in, and Pato has had an absolute shocker as well. I think he only pulled about 5 points in. The last one to mention, we're down to the final 3 in the FPL. Sorry, not the FPL. What's it called? The LMS.
Last man standing.
Down to the last 3 in the last man standing, and the prize at the minute is £1,078. Once that goes, it will go, and we will be able to start again. We'll be able to update the graphics, and we'll be able to invite everybody back in and get involved with our LMS because it's absolute bands. There's some great people in the comments tonight. There's some great people that we talk to socially, and we made a fair few friends on match days just through getting involved with that. So, yeah, building the community, and hopefully we'll be in a situation where that'll continue to grow this season.
Absolutely. I know that we brought up the last man standing chat recently a lot this season. We did have an email saying, how do we get involved? Like I said, we're down to the last 3 players. As soon as we separate the week from the chaff, we'll be starting our game again. Keep an eye on all the socials available on the QR code available on the screen. That's where all the socials are. To go to some comments here, Shabby McNally's gone with pitch side monitors are in room 101 for me. Pitch side monitors. Someone's got an issue with pitch side monitors. Utter woke nonsense. I enjoy with it. In fact, actually, there was a reference about the drinks break I was going to bring up, and one person who is the poster boy, the man who's the poster boy of utter woke nonsense is Sean Dyche, and you do not get a voice like that by not shouting across a pitch. You know what I mean? So we're more Sean Dyches. That's what we need. Also doubles up as Chansiri. Matt Strickland's gone with a controversial idea of pre-order drinks on an app. Get
that back up. Get that back up. Is that pre-order or pre-order?
Pre-order.
Pre-order. Back to the shin pads.
I'm out in Matt.
If anybody's seen the video of the catering at Everton, it's fucking ridiculous, right? And everybody's going, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's buying a pint with extra steps to make you feel like you're busy, you fucking idiots. So, like, Houston Airport. Let me tell you about Houston Airport. Houston Airport is a transit airport, right? So everybody at Houston Airport is passing through. And the big complaints that they get, I've been caught in it myself in a storm. The big complaints that they get is that because you have to receive your luggage off of one plane and get it and then go to the next one with your luggage, everybody complains because they don't transfer your luggage to the next one. So what they did was make the walkways longer. So when you got off the plane, they directed you around the long way around. So it took you longer to get to the carousel to get your baggage, and that reduced the amount of complaints. That's what they're doing at Everton. Let's not fart around the poo. We've just got an extra thing to scan your card. They've got pre-made snacks to take from a shelf, pre-poured pints. It's all they've done, but for some reason they put a gate in it. What you do? Come on now. It's like when you have to take a ticket and then take it to another geezer who's got pre-poured pints. That's just Houston Airport. Grow up. Use your minds. Come on. Don't be sheeple. Sheeple. Fucking ridiculous. What else have we got? Craig Hayward's gone with half and half scarves. Get them out. Not a fan of half and half scarves. I think they're all right for a event game. Does that make sense? So let's say it's
Champions League final.
And you've got a kid with you, and you're like, you need something to remember the game by. I'm all right. I wouldn't sit there. I'd have it up in the bedroom or something because, like, I went there, I did it, but I wouldn't tot around in a Champions, in a half and half scarf. That's just weird. It's what Japanese tourists do. And Mad Ward's gone with get Chansiri in room 101, please.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. And Richard Mikeson's gone with do it like in America where they have a beer and snack fella that comes around in your seating. They do that at Berlin as well, which I was a big fan of. And I
absolutely, it's amazing.
I also fell asleep at that ground, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. 74,000 people there, and Dan falls asleep. But
Pissed.
we had drank a lot. We had drank a lot.
And we've had the comment of the night from Reese that says, get XG in room 101. There's only one statistic that matters, kids. There's one statistic that matters, and it's the goals. And refs with names on the back that can get in the bin. Right. So as we ebb closer to the end of the show, I do wanted to do some any other business and bring up that unfortunately Guy Sikera has had an operation, and I want to say it looks like an Achilles issue, given the location of the of where the thing is on his leg. But Guy Sikera's season, after scoring that shit pinger in the League Cup, his season's over now as he recovers from what looks like quite serious surgery. So I hope that recovers well, young man, because I feel like it's going to be a long road back for you. And I'm sorry about the timing of this, because this would have been a great opportunistic season for the young Owls to get themselves on the pitch. Does anybody else have any other business?
Yeah, Bristol City on the weekend. I know we're going to do our hello from the side and what have you, but we're back to football, aren't we? So we've got that coming up. Looking forward to seeing where we are with things. And then we've got a watch along. And I just really plug for the watch along. Shall I talk about
it? Well, go on then. Yeah. You went, I want to talk about the watch along, and then stop talking.
I didn't know if I was tagging you in. So we did the Leeds watch along for the EFL round 2 game, wasn't it? Where we won on penalties. And for those of you that are regular viewers, you'll be aware that myself and Ash decided we both had the same idea effectively at the same time, because we didn't want to be at the ground, but we didn't want to not watch the game. So we talked about it last week. We wanted to sort of get an opportunity to try out something, and I genuinely shit myself at the thought of speaking to Ash for 3 hours non-stop. But it ended up being great, sort of a great evening for both of us, and I think it's been pretty well received. We're going to run it back, and we're going to do the Grimsby game. I think it's me and him. Is it me and him? Are we doing that?
Yeah. I want these guys to come in and just chirps in for 10 minutes, and then we'll just rotate a third chair. I feel like we've got an opportunity. I want to try and get phone calls in, like Goldbridge does, where he gets people call in and stuff like that. I need to work out the science on that. And I want Chaz to come in and go, "You lot are swearing too much. What are you doing?" And then dip hard again, something like that. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of trying to get other people involved. If you are watching the watch along with the guys, get involved, because it's actually quite fun. And Ash will tell me off if I don't mention that we are raising money once again for PACT, or PACT as it's known better. There are, on our socials, once again, the QR code is on the screen. There is a link to our X and our Instagram that shows you the donation stations in which you can drop off some toiletries for charity. It's something that proved quite popular last year, and we were overwhelmed by the response that we got last year. And what's different about it this year is that last year it was an idea that Ash had to try and raise these sort of facilities for these people in need, but they actually contacted us this time round and asked us to do it again, which kind of doubles down on how important it is for these people. So if you can donate some toiletries, that would be incredible if you could, because I feel like we are back in that period of time where it's that time of year, isn't it, where it starts to get a little bit colder, and we could do with that type of stuff. Charlie, anything to add? I've realised I've not spoke to you in a while.
Just about the engagement panel, that they are suspending sort of ongoing conversations with the club until the club gets its act together. Basically, they're not withdrawing from it, but all the parties involved in the engagement panel are announcing that they are suspending their conversations with the club, which I think is just important to note, just for ongoing reasons, as it were.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because once again, Ash did ask me to bring that up this evening, and I nearly forgot about it. So thank you very much. So yes, there are a couple that released a statement today. I think it was Wednesday night. The Women's Supporters Group released a statement saying that they're not going to engage with the engagement panel until things change with until it's useful. To be honest, until it's useful. I know a lot of people have some different opinions on that, and we all know that Ash is part of the engagement panel as well. So yes, that's something that's happening in the world. Let me just point towards this this comment from Izzy saying, "Do you have a list of what they want donating?" Toiletries is the general term that's getting used. So shower gel, deodorants, shampoos. There is a list on our socials if you want to read it out, Chaz. While I pad. Stu Williams has asked that is the requested meeting not happening? I don't believe it is. Go on, get yourself on it, Chaz.
Shampoo, shower gel, deodorant, flannels, toothbrushes, toothpaste, pocket tissues, fluffy socks, and pocket games.
There you go.
Exile.
I really struggled not shouting, and a cuddly tie by the end of it. It's a good job I didn't. Well done, Fudge.
It's just a really big thing, and it's not me saying this to hear my voice, but I can't emphasize enough how big of a deal that is that Pact have reached out. I think it's a really it's such a cause, because the reason that they want these items is when bad things happen linked to childhood cancer and those sort of situations where people are taken into respite, and their families need to be with them. They get calls and they might be in a situation where they need these items very, very, very last minute, and rather than adding that stress of trying to get themselves sorted, Pact are an organisation that want to help them out and have these things to hand. And the Wednesday fans that helped out last year did a phenomenal job of getting that stuff sorted for them. And we're now at a point where we need to, if you can, double down and do it again, because they've exhausted that sort of resource and they're just asking for a little bit of help to do it again. And I know if I was in that situation, I'd want, an organisation such as Pact to help us, and we want to help them.
Exactly right. We've also had a comment saying, I thought you might discuss the site takeover rumour. I wanted to keep today takeover free, if I'm honest. I felt like it's been discussed to death on every other outlet and, on ours as well. And I don't, if you do want to hear about that, I want to push you towards to Punk Chef's channel rather than us try and paraphrase it. You know what I mean? It would be wrong of us to try and, truncate what they were saying. It's quite a tasty interview. A lot of people were talking about it down at the London Owls protest. Speaking about that was a really good event. I met a lot of people, put some names to some faces, met Mark the Pitsmore Owl, met Sid the Greek, met a number of people actually, had some really good chats with some really good people, and it was nice to see that sort of turnout. Really quite well respectful as well, which I feel was great. And it was a protest that I kind of was on board with, because I feel like moving down that route of making him embarrassed and making the Thai people embarrassed is something that they hold dear to themselves. So I feel like it was something that might have some legs going forward. In the meantime, thanks a lot for joining us this evening, folks. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to go and take a swig of water and try and get rid of this frog in my throat. Please keep a lookout on the socials for Hello from the Other Side, and then don't forget this Thursday 5 p.m. on TalkSport 2. It's the Dan Fudge Show. See you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week. Bringing you football analysis.
They said we'll win the league next season.
Bringing you banter.
I don't think anybody wants to listen to my boring anecdotes.
Why not? You've been doing it for 4 years on this show.
I should not have said that.
This show's like you're mental. No, I'm not.
Clip that.
Bringing you terrible impressions.
Wibble, wobble, wobbly, wobbly, wibble, wobble, Cyber Jordan.
Hey, pay your bills. I don't know where these jokes are coming from.
Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there for podcasts, etc.
The award-winning Wednesday week. Join us.
Put on your pod